What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with another video today, giving you some tips to stop spinning out of the golf shots and have better sequencing. Let's get into it. So I want to talk about a common principle that a lot of people start implementing, and that's throwing your hips early at the top of your swing. A lot of people start throwing their hips because they think that that drops the club into the slot. While this is technically one way that that can happen, a big misconception happens when doing this, which actually can cause a spin out in your golf swing. Essentially, a spin out, for those of you that don't know, is just when your lower body becomes disconnected from your upper body. A lot of times this is seen when your lower body will spin out too early, become disconnected from the shot, really messes with sequencing, messes with ball striking, and it ultimately loses you a lot of power. So we need to stop that spin out so you can feel connected to the ground and connected to your overall golf shot. So if you are trying to throw your hips first to get that club to drop in the slot, you must, and I cannot stress this enough, you must properly load your left side at the top of your swing first before you start throwing your hips. If you start throwing your hips at the top of your backswing while you still have weight loaded on your trail side, you'll throw your hips without loading here. Everything will just cave around, spin, and that's when you get that spin out effect and just hit the ball terrible. You won't feel connected to the ground and you'll lose all your ball striking and all your speed. So to talk about this, we have to talk about how the hips are actually supposed to move. Now, throwing the hips is perfectly fine first if that does get the club to drop in the slot and it creates good timing for you. But again, you have to load that front side first. Now, the hips both move laterally and spin. They operate in both ways. A lot of people miss this, so they just do one piece of that puzzle. They'll either move their hips laterally, so they'll go into a soft front side and just coast this way, or they'll add the spin element without getting that lateral movement first, which then creates, again, that spin out effect. So you have to combine both. Lateral movement first, then the spin element. So the lateral movement, what I'm talking about, in a good way, lateral movement is getting to the top of your swing, moving your hips laterally and loading onto that front side. Then you can spin and turn into a hard side. If you only move laterally at the top of your swing, you'll just cave straight into it, turn into a soft side, and it's not gonna work. If you don't move laterally at all and you just rotate, well, you're gonna hang on this back leg and you're gonna spin out of the golf shot. Lateral first movement to load that side, then you can add the spin element. Must be done in that order. One of my absolute favorite drills that you need to be doing to practice this sequencing if you're spinning out is the step forward drill. You can do this drill dry. I would suggest doing it dry. You can also do it hitting a golf ball. It's a lot harder to do it hitting a golf ball, but that's fine if you can. Essentially how this starts is start with your club way out in front. And as this club goes up and starts coming back, once it crosses this midline of where you're standing, I want you to start striding your left foot forward. So your feet start together, club up, bring it back, you start striding. As you get to the top of your swing, you are shifting all this weight onto your front side already, because when it comes back, instead of actually thinking loading back, you're more thinking loading forward. So this is the patterning. This is really reinforcing that you're loading that front side and then causing the spin. So keep in mind, lateral motion of the hips. Good lateral motion because we're loading that front side. So good lateral motion of the hips, load. Then we're not pausing this drill, we're turning and focusing on the spin element, turning into a locked out left side. So if this side keeps moving laterally while trying to spin, you're just gonna keep moving forward, and that's not good for speed. We do need the spin piece to it, but if you don't ever, again, get into that front side, which on this drill really requires it, so the only way to not get in the front side would be to hang back, but on this one, you're gonna get into the front side and then spin and turn around. So a good version of this drill would just look like this, moving those hands up, back, load, and fire. You can see hips first move laterally, then they spin and rotate. This is amazing for starting to actually increase your fast twitch muscle fibers, to start activating, train your CNS, start firing better. You can use it with dry driver. You can use it with a training aid like the Speed Toad. Amazing for increasing your club speed, but also amazing for increasing your timing of loading your front side. So last piece of this, I just want to show you some club speeds. of just the different positions of if you're spinning out, if you're going into a soft side, what your hips are actually doing when they're moving laterally versus spinning, and if that timing is right, what it does to your club speed. So first one I'm going to show you is if you're actually not loading your front side and you end up just spinning out. It's going to look a lot like this. 128 miles an hour. I'm going to do one more there. If you're just spinning out, hips fire and you just lose all contact with the ground. 130 miles per hour. You can see on that one, which arguably looks a little bit more like my long drive swing. Regardless of that, your hips just start clearing early and this causes your legs to really just lose contact with the ground. My spin out was not as bad as some of your guys' spin outs could be. It gets very exaggerated where you could be completely just coming out of the shot and have absolutely no idea what this club head is doing at the ball. So 130 miles an hour is our base for a spin out. Now I'm going to show you if you're doing more lateral motion and less spinning. Again, that spin out is more spin, less lateral. So let's go for more lateral motion. You can see my hips are really moving more laterally than anything. Same thing here, more lateral. A lot of lateral motion. That was 128 miles an hour, and that's probably all I can get doing that. Now we're gonna go to the correct timing of this. So in order to do that, we're gonna start with one of the step forward drills to make sure that we're loading laterally correctly and then firing the hips correctly spinning. Here we go. Well, we're already at 137 miles an hour. Gonna go again, load, and then fire. 138, much better timing, clearly a lot faster. I don't know if I mentioned this before, your step forward drills are going to tend to be faster because you are actually loading your left side correctly. Now, if you have a much faster step forward drill than your regular swing, this is a big indicator that you are not loading your front side early enough in your swing. You don't have proper lateral movement before you have proper hip movement. So now same thing, I'm looking for proper loading, a little bit of lateral movement at the top, and then the rotation element of spinning my hips. But we're not doing the step forward drill now. And 138 miles an hour. So it clearly stuck from step forward to regular swing because I was loading my front side first and then firing off of it. Guys, that is it for today. I hope this video helps you to implement the correct lateral shift of your hips before you fire your hips spinning to stop you from spinning out of shots and to gain you a lot more club speed. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about this. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.